Here's to making life choices that we are comfortable with. Hello, everybody. Ooh, it's Cheyenne here, and I'm just here with a little encouraging moment. So, while I was at work earlier this week, had a little bit of a random discussion that popped up. So, the situation was a young person came in and he was talking about getting some flights together so that he can go to a training activity with us in a few months. And he was talking about his apartment or something like that. And our supervisor asked him, "Oh, is your girlfriend going to be taking care of everything while you're gone?" And he's like, "Oh, no, no, no. I didn't move in with her. Why would I do that?" And so me and another associate of mine, we pretty much kind of jumped in and was just like, okay, good, don't. And like it was kind of like in a joking way, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, don't move in with your girlfriend. That's not a good idea. And so then another guy who was kind of sitting there, it was like right after lunch, so everything is still kind of dying down, so everybody's still kind of in relaxed mode. And he jumps in and he's like, "Well, don't go telling him that getting married or not getting married, but moving in is a bad idea just because it didn't work out for you." And then so I told him, like, well, it's not because it didn't work out with me that I'm telling him not to do it. It's just you have to make sure it's the right person. I mean, for me, I just didn't want to do that anymore. So that's why I got divorced. So somehow moving in together, turned into getting married to people. So, I mean, essentially it is kind of the same thing because you are marrying your things together when you move in with somebody. Excuse me. Okay, so anyway, so it's this whole thing. I'm telling him like, no, it's not that it didn't work out, with that relationship because it could have worked out, but I chose not to. I walked away from it because of the circumstances. I wasn't agreeing with them. And then the other associate who jumped in with me and told the young boy not to move in with his girlfriend, she tells me, and she's like, she's just talking real fast. She's a law student right now, so she's like in attorney mode. She's like really passionate about arguments and things like that. So she's telling me, yeah, just because it didn't work out, blah 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 blah. She's telling me a whole bunch of things. Um, the majority of what I got from her was about kids because I told the other guy that if you do get married, make sure it's the right person. And then also, if kids are involved, I said, for me, you may as well stay. And he's like, so you would have stayed with your ex if you had kids with him? And I was like, yeah, I would have just stayed and worked it out because of my kids. And then that's where she jumped in really hard and was just like, oh no, if you stay with somebody just because you have kids, you're going to ruin those kids' lives. And you don't even know that you're doing it. I know a lot of people personally who've done this and it's really bad and it always is bad. And pretty much she was just trying to give me a heads up, and she said shine light on my situation. So I said, okay, I accept that and I appreciate that. I'm just saying, for me, I would do that because I'm a different type of person. And even though I tried to let her know what that meant, what I meant in that, she was not able to hear it because she was in argumentative mode. Now, I feel like there are argumentative people, and then there are people who get in argumentative modes sometimes because it's like certain things make them very passionate, and there's nothing that anybody can say to them to waver their decision, their choice, their argument. So, with that, I just decided to allow her to say her part and then try to come back in later. That didn't work because she was dead on with, she was set on getting this point across, and she felt like I just wasn't understanding if I was giving um, my opinion on that. So there's two things that I wanted to address in this video: how to deal with argumentative people or people who get in argumentative modes, and I wanted to give my piece on the type of person that I am and how I personally would deal with that type of situation. So first, how to deal with argumentative people is to not deal with argumentative people. When I say this, I don't mean become a doorstep or a, floor mat for them to just walk over and not even care. I'm not saying just lay back and allow somebody to chew your eyelashes off and just talk until you're backed up into a wall and you just say, fine, I agree with you. Like, no, I'm not saying do that. I'm saying choose your battles, because everything is not an argument. And to be honest, arguments don't even solve the issue. Like, when you really think about it, someone's always going to walk away upset. Somebody's always going to walk away feeling as though they haven't gotten everything off their chest. Someone's always going to walk away feeling as though they were misunderstood. And a couple of other things that are always involved at the end of an argument that, didn't really need to happen. Somebody's, always trying to control the other person. Somebody's always trying to persuade the other person. And, it's just a lot of things that just don't need to take place when it comes to conversations. When you're having a conversation with somebody, if you say something, I say something. I say something, you say something. I'm passionate about this. You might not be passionate about that. But guess what? We're adults. So we say, okay, well, that's my thought. That's how I feel. Okay. And then that's it. I mean, in the perfect world. Because, that's how I would love to have conversations all the time. But anywho, and the second part. So with that idea about marriage, I love the idea about marriage. Two people coming in one household and sharing their lives together. Now, since we've all kind of had the marriage experience, to be honest. Because when we're dating for such a long time with somebody, we end up, getting married without getting married on paper, So with that, with life experience, I will say, I think that is very important to get to know that person a lot better after you get to know yourself a lot better. So getting to know, being aware of your triggers, emotional triggers, physical ones, whatever that case may be. You might be obsessive compulsive about certain things in your house, but you don't know that until somebody else comes and is living with you. So, be aware of those type of things. Like when you see something and you're like, okay, I need that, I need things to look like this, or I need things to sound like that, or I need things to feel like this. Be aware of that. So then that way, when you decide to invite somebody else into your world, you can kind of, give them a little slack because they didn't know that. But then just let them know. And then, just continue to let them know until it's, you know, pretty much easy for them to understand. Okay. So, getting to know your triggers, getting to know yourself, and then getting to know that person. I think those are really important before you move in with somebody. And then when you do move in together, I mean, if it's possible, I say start in a brand new place. So it's not like somebody's coming into yours or you are coming to theirs. It's like you are getting something together. I think that would be a better impact, because it's both new for both of you, and it's not set already. If the atmosphere is not already his, the atmosphere is not already hers. It's ours. you know? So yeah. And okay. So when it comes to getting together and say I get married to someone else, right? And we have kids together. But then maybe 2-3 years into the children's lives, all of a sudden he's doing something that I don't agree with. It's really bad, and I'm just like, I feel like if we didn't have kids, I would be out of there. But since we have kids, in my life, for me, I would stay for my children. Now, a lot of people would say, just like my friend slash coworker who was telling me, like, that's not a good idea because you could destroy the child's life. You can do this and you can do that. So for me, I'm a different type of person. I say, I'm willing to suffer for a set amount of time for the likelihood of someone else. And a lot of people might not agree with that, but I'm okay with that because literally there's no issue, there's no restriction with me when it comes to the likelihood of someone else, especially if that someone else is my child. So I would make sure that my child is aware or my children are aware of the situation. I want to make sure that I'm involved in their life. So I'm not just going to send them to public school or send them to daycare center so somebody else can raise them so I can go to work and make money for them to make this better life for them, which better life does not mean more money or more things. Sorry, I think I have it's okay. It's going to just go off in a few minutes. So that's how I would look at it. That's how I would address the situation. And just like a lot of things in life, I feel like when you're aware of the situation, it's really hard for you to get very hurt, like, seriously hurt in that situation because, like equally to if you didn't know about it. So what I mean by that is, example, me being aware of how strong I am lets me know what type of things I can pick up and what type of things I should just leave there until somebody else is there to help me pick that up. Because I know that I can pretty much lift about maybe 50, 60 pounds. But if there's something that's 70, 80, 100 pounds, I know I won't be able to lift that up. But if I did, knowing that I can't, that would be my decision. That's my choice that I made to go ahead and put myself in a position where I could get seriously hurt. And that would just be on me, versus not knowing how strong I am because I've never lifted weights or anything like that and decided that I'm going to pick something up and just so happens I'm able to do it. I mean, sometimes we get lucky like that with choices in life, but sometimes we don't and we end up getting seriously hurt because we weren't aware of our level of, strength in that area, whether it be mental strength, physical strength, or spiritual strength. I'm not saying those are the only types of strengths, but those are the only types that I'm thinking of right now. But yeah, so that's how I would deal with that situation. It's a lot of things in life that we have a choice to make. We have a choice of choices, what I like to say. And with that, just make sure if you want, not a happy life, but a peaceful life, make sure that those choices are something that's going to bring you joy. It's connected to something that's going to bring you joy. So don't work that job that you know you hate. Don't spend time with people who you know drain you of your joy and your peace. Don't, live or continue to live in an environment, if it's in your control to move, don't live in that environment knowing that it's destroying you and it's keeping you back. So, again, I say, and this is water, here's to making choices that bring you joy. This is Cheyenne, and I'm signing out. Have a wonderful day and stay loved.